say, drill, baby, drill. But the courts won't let you. Mr. Ramaswamy, how would you bring down prices without immediate drilling?
Well, look, I think that we do have to run through the courts and get through that administrative state to make sure we're using the natural resources here at home. But here's the other thing that we can do that's easy.
Forever, Mr. Ramaswamy.
And it addresses the national debt as well as brings down prices. Put people back to work. We are using taxpayer money to pay people more to stay at home than to go to work. That is wrong. That contributes to our supply chain crisis. It contributes to inflation. That's the easiest way to unlock this economy. And here's the other thing. We have to put the Federal Reserve back in its place. This is an agency that has gone rogue. So in January 2026, when I have the opportunity as their next commander-in-chief, we will have a new chairman of the Federal Reserve who places priority on dollar stability. And then most importantly, send packing 75% of the administrative state, reduce the federal employee headcount by 75%, rescind 50% of unconstitutional federal regulations that are shackling businesses, both large and small. I've offered a very clear, practical plan to do it. That's how we unleash the economy. That's how we revive the integrity of a three-branch constitutional republic rather than this technocracy and aristocracy in the administrative state.
Now, if you had no idea what the Fed chair was, you would think that was a good answer. The president has no control over who is the Fed chair. None.
Energy independence.
The people in the organization vote for the chairman. But he just had you think he can just appoint somebody that has his ideology.
Joe Biden declared a war on energy, which was no surprise because when Joe Biden ran for president, he said he was going to end fossil fuels. And they've been working overtime to do that ever since.
I'm sure they're not going to get back to
we're going to open up federal lands. We're going to unleash.
I see all had to get it
all of the above energy strategy.
No, we can. I was just about to tell you. I think you're probably going to end this early because they're not going to get back to any issues that we
America lost our position as the leading energy producer. I believe in the next 10 years with the right policies and experienced leadership in the White House, we can reclaim our role as the leading energy producer on Earth, and that'll grow the American economy for generations to come.
Governor Haley, reaction to that, please.
As the only person who's leading an energy state, could I answer the energy question?
No, Governor Haley.
So, the first thing I'll say is
what I
saw at the United Nations is national energy security. It's national security. We need a president that understands we have to partner with our producers and make sure that we have their backs. What you don't need is a president who is against energy independence. Ron DeSantis is against fracking. He's against drilling. He's been against. He always talks about what happens on day one. You better watch out because what happens on day two is when you're in trouble. Day two in Florida, you banned fracking, you banned offshore drilling, you did it on federal lands, and you took green subsidies that you didn't have to take.
Governor DeSantis, you were mentioned. You have the right to respond. 30 seconds.
Yeah. I just did a plan out in West Texas for American energy dominance. We're going to choose Midland over Moscow. We're going to choose the Marcellus over the Mullahs, and we're going to choose Bakken over Beijing, and we are going to lower your gas prices. We are going to get that job done because it's important for our national security. It's important for jobs, and that's one of the best ways to drive down inflation.
Governor DeSantis. Governor DeSantis.
So the only answer to that because this is
Governor
ridiculous.
DeSantis, this question is for you.
Our voters enacted a constitutional amendment.
You banned it before they voted.
No, it's not true.
You banned it before they voted,
Nikki,
and not only that, they didn't vote on fracking.
She's totally wrong. They voted it in. That's what we did. Onshore, we do it in Florida. We don't have as much as maybe West Texas, but we do it. But that was the Constitution. So that's just wrong. And let's just get real here. My plan will get the job done. We are going to be energy dominant, and that's what's going to happen.
And the voters didn't even vote on fracking, and you banned fracking.
We are moving on with this question for Governor DeSantis. Governor, excuse me, we cannot talk over each other. We must respect each other's time. My apologies for that.
Oh my God, that guy needs to be quiet.
Senator Scott, the national debt has nearly doubled in your time in office. The approval rate for Congress is at a mere 19%. If this were a business, you'd probably all be fired in Washington, but you're here tonight looking for a promotion.
That's why
in 2013, Governor Haley hired you for the Senate. I'd like you to tell her why you should be promoted to CEO of the nation instead of her.
Certainly. One of the things I'd say is if you look at our national debt, $33 trillion, I would love to have an opportunity
What is
to
the purpose
have
of
this country
this?
pass a
We are
balanced
so void
budget
of intellect,
amendment
Nick.
that
We
would
are,
constrain
as
the
a country,
spending
we
in
are so
Washington in the
void
same
of
fashion
intellect.
that it does
We're
in
so
every
proud
state
to be
in our nation. Number one.
stupid,
Number two,
to not
if you want
even
to
want
actually
to be
reduce our
smart.
national debt,
What
you have
the
to grow
fuck
our
is
economy.
this, man?
In order to grow our
our
economy,
mind is
you need to create
decolonized, so
about
people have
10
no idea
million
how we
jobs
view our
to grow our
country. Our
economy
country is
at
ran by
5%. You can
clowns.
do that in three
That's why
specific
people are
sectors. Number
Western
one,
chauvinist,
the energy sector.
Western
We could create
exceptionists,
between
U.S. exceptionists.
3 and
They're so
3.5
stupid to us.
million
Hey,
jobs.
how can
if we
you believe
unleash
this is the
all
best
of our
country? This
energy
garbage
resources.
that we're watching.
America is the most.
It's so absurd
We're
to
the
me.
richest
Even when we
country.
have faith
If
in
you
this
combine
bullshit.
coal, gas,
Revolution
and oil,
or bust.
why not unleash all of our resources? Number two, we've lost 100,000
All right, I think I'm going to take off,
factories.
Nick, so
100,000
I'll let you
factories
close it out
in the
tonight.
last 25
I'm gonna
years.
get
Yeah, I'm
out.
gonna
If
let
we
the
Continue
debate
on my
finish.
Made
because
in
I know you
America
got to
plan.
finish.
We
Yeah,
can
but
bring
because this
jobs
is pretty
back to
terrible. So
America
my
in
final
a
words
similar
before I
fashion
go,
Yeah.
I feel less
that
hopeful
we did when
than
I
I
wrote.
started. I feel like this shit is worse because the stuff I heard from them, like if you can have this logic and have this reasoning for some of the shit, like I don't even know how to combat some of these stuff that they're just making up stuff. Like the guy in the China segment we were listening, like how he was unhinged, like damn man, I have nothing to say. You're so far gone, like I have nothing to even combat this, and that's what the feeling I'm getting from this debate. I'm just like, man, can we is this really like? How are we going to change the mind of people who believe this kind of level of nonsense, man? It is nonsense that was in this debate. So that's my final words on it.
Yeah, what's that, CJ? Tomorrow,
All right.
I think we're going to do Nick and CJ tomorrow because I'm guest hosting Due Dissidence on Friday. They got a show Friday morning. So we're going to do a show Thursday. We have a Gray Zone Lion from the Gray Zone. He joined us as well. So let me know if you're free. If not, I can do.
Yeah, we'll discuss time and see
Yeah.
and see because I'm gonna drop my wife is going to a funeral for her grandma, so I'm gonna drop her off to the airport in the morning. So we'll be in contact and we'll set something up.
Yeah,
so everybody
just let me know.
Stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned. All right,
Yeah,
all right, Nick. I'll see you later, sir. See everybody.
All right, I'm gonna let the debate finish out here for you guys.
State people respond to leadership. I've done it while others have talked about it.
CEO, we actually have a CEO in the White House, which is what I think we need. If I may just briefly interject here, we need a zero-based budgeting. That's the way businesses are actually run. Start with zero as the baseline for the budget and then see what's actually necessary. There isn't a blue state or a red state in this union that does it. The federal government doesn't do it. But successful companies, including the ones that I've built as a CEO, will do it. And I think we need a CEO in the White House to get that done.
Governor Burgum runs a state that way.
Yeah,
yes,
tech
go
questions,
ahead.
you didn't ask the only guy that's been in tech. You have energy questions, you don't ask anything. But I'm just going to say right now, when you say nobody else has done it, the energy plans that have all been announced in the last month by these other folks on stage, we're already doing it in North Dakota. The border plans they're already talking about, we've got troops down at the border flying helicopter missions from North Dakota, from San Diego to the Gulf Coast, trying to stop transnational criminal organizations from inflicting the invasion and the mass casualties in our state. And on the energy policy, we're already doing it. And it's not saying when nobody else done the big fights, North Dakota was leading the charge. We won the battle to get the Biden administration, who was ignoring the law. They were the first administration since Truman that wasn't holding the quarterly required lease sales. And we won that in federal court. WOTUS, we won that in federal court. We're fighting the Biden administration on 20 fronts. To say that nobody's fighting the big fights, just look at the record of what we're doing right now. Yeah. Energy, economy, national security, have been talking about it since day one. And now finally, good, we're having the conversation about it. But we've got the answer in North Dakota.
Governor Burgum, let's talk big government. This question's for you. Big government keeps getting bigger. 1/5 of all new jobs this year have been created by the government. Governor Burgum, you say you want to shrink the size of government, but it has been a century since any president has done that. Why would you be any different?
Well, because we've done it in North Dakota. When I took office, we shrunk the state budget general fund by 27% in the first 4 months I was office, and all the trains still running on time. Why? Because you had a business leader that was actually there. Inside of every government job, there's 10 or 20% of mind-numbing, soul-sucking work that even the state and federal employees don't want to do, and you can engineer that work out of the job. That would free up right there 20% of 2 million civilian employees. And by the way, we've got 10 million jobs open. They'd have plenty to do, and they could be generating taxes instead of being paid paid by taxes. This is totally possible to do it if you have somebody that understands, because having worked in technology for 30 years, everything we had to do was to be better, faster, and cheaper the next day. That's what we can do in government. That's what we're doing in North Dakota.
All right. Governor DeSantis.